Our assignment for week 5 is this case problem number 2, and this video goes over part A. It's on page 177 in your book. The goal of part A is to group command statements into logical groups and then make methods out of these. We start with a previously written program in Java that has a main method with a whole series of commands in it, and we're going to break those out. The assignment says that we have to break them out into the logo, get user input, and then they combine the calculations and display together into one method. If we take a look at the program here that was previously written for us, we see here's the motto, here's the logo right here, one single line. And then we have get user input, it's this section right here. And then of course in the calculate and display is whatever's left over right here. We're going to take and we're going to make methods out of those. If you go to Blackboard, under our assignments for week 5, okay, you're going to see this Sammy's rental problem. You can take and you can get the original program real easily just by clicking on that. It should pop it up here. I'm going to take it, I'm just going to copy just the name of the class for now because I'm going to go back into Eclipse and I'm going to create a week 5 ready, create a new class under my week 5 like that. And it is going to be called Sammy's rental price, like that. And then go back into Blackboard. Control A, Control C, copies all. Stick it back in here, Control A, Control V, paste it all just like that. And there, it's all beautiful in there, okay? First thing the book says, go ahead and save it. Save all. And then we're going to take and we're going to go File, Save As, because they want you to call this Sammy's rental price with methods, just like that. And of course now we have to change our class up here to that, with methods, like that. Beautiful, okay. Here we go. Where is our one line to do with our logo? Right here, we've got one line right here. Let's create a method out of just that one line. I'm going to take and cut it right out of here because we aren't going to use it here anymore. Control X. Now you have to make sure that you stay within your class but outside the main. So make sure you get outside of the curly brace of the main, inside of the curly brace for the class, just like that. I'm going to create a method around that, like this. Public, static, void, main, not main, no, this is what? Logo, like that. Opening, closing parentheses, opening curly brace, and right around the other side here of this line of code here, closing curly brace like that. Beautiful. When we start moving things in and out of our main, we're going to run into problems with variables, okay? And that has to do, once again, with the scope of a variable, doesn't it? Inside of these curly braces for main, we've created this variable called motto. It's only known within your curly braces here. It's only known within main. Outside of main, it's like, what in the world's motto? We've never heard of that before. We could move this, or we could also pass it. Let's pass it, okay? And you pass information by putting it in your parameters. First of all, we have to say, what type of a variable is it? It's a string variable. It's called motto, like that. Boom, fixed all that problems. Beautiful. This is going to want to be popped up right after your user input. So let's have that right here. Just call that method now. Just like that. Of course, it's unhappy because we have to send it something. What are we going to send it? We're going to send it motto. Just like that. Beautiful. Okay, the next one is the get user input, isn't it? And that's this stuff right here. Right there. We're going to cut that out of there. Slowly we're making all this stuff disappear, aren't we? And as we're going to move that right down here. Let's first of all create the structure for our method, okay, public static void. And this is going to be get input. Like that, opening, closing parenthesis, opening, closing curly brace, put some space in it, paste your stuff in there just like that. Now, let's see, now where do we have problems? Okay, input. Input is the name of our scanner object, isn't it? Up here. We're only using the scanner object just in this one spot. So let's take and we're going to cut it out of there. We could copy it too, but we only use it here. So let's take and move that right down here. That will fix that input variable problem. There, we got that fixed. And now inputted minutes. Let's take and just return that value. Return whatever's the next int here. Now we're having a problem here because it says, oh no, you're returning void. No, we aren't returning void. We're returning an int, just like that. Beautiful. And then we go back up here and we'll call that method, okay? What's it called again? Get input. And what do we got to send it? We got to send it, oh, we don't send it anything, do we? We got empty parameters here, okay. Semicolon, just like that. Now this will work, but the only problem is that we're returning a value, we aren't doing anything with it. Let's take and we'll put that into our inputted minutes right there. Inputted minutes is equal to whatever that method returns. Beautiful. Notice how we're starting to clean up some of this stuff in here, okay? It's getting cleaner. We have to do one more. We got to do this calculate stuff. So let's take and just copy this stuff right out of here. Okay, just cut that all that stuff right out of there. Control X, just like that. Clean that thing right up. Public static void. Let's see, calc and display. I don't know what we're going to put in there. Opening, closing parentheses, opening, closing curly braces, put some space between them, and paste all that junk right in there. Now we're going to say, oh my gosh, we created a mess this time, didn't we? Hey, no problem. No problem. Let's see, what do we got here? We got hours and inputted minutes. Okay, it's variables. Okay, inputted minutes. Let's take and send that down, okay? Because we're using inputted minutes in here too, aren't we? Okay. Okay, let's see, that is an int. And I copied it so I could paste it right there. That took care of some of our problems, okay? So we're going to be passing that. These other ones here are all used internally now. We don't use them up here anymore. So let's go ahead and copy those, okay? We're going to leave our finals up here. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's take and move this one right here, this right here. Control X that, because we don't use those up here anymore. Okay, and let's paste those in right here, like that. Boom. There. Okay, now we still got these static, these constant variables up here. Okay, finals, and let's leave them up here. It's a nice place to put them because anytime I change my cost per hour or something like that, okay, I can change them up here. So let's leave those right up there. But let's take and pass those, okay? Let's pass those, comma, int, like that, and int cost per minute. So you can copy and pasting as much as you can. Like there, took care of all our problems, just like that. You might want to leave these in here. I'm going to jack these over because it always kind of annoys me when things aren't lined up like that. Beautiful. Everything is all looking good here now. Now I've got to take and I've got to call this method. I've got to send it 1, 2, 3 things, okay? Making sure that it stays in order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm going to actually copy all these like this. Something you might want to do, copy that. Okay, now when we call it up here, we're going to be calling a what right here, aren't we? Paste that right in there, okay. Now, the only thing is that when we call the method, we don't have to tell it what type of variables are in there, don't we? So let's get rid of those. But look at that, we're going to keep all the, that's easy, isn't it? Keep all the names right in there, and then we don't have to worry about it. And a semicolon at the end, just like that. And so now we're going to take and we're going to send all this information down, okay? And then once it gets in here, it knows what to do with all the minutes and all that stuff. So now we've taken our main from a whole bunch of lines, ended up with just a few lines, didn't we? Just this stuff right here. You can clean that up a little bit. Let's see, we don't have this anymore. And get user input. Let's see, and here's our logo, and here's our display and calc, okay, right there. We don't really need this anymore. Let's get rid of that, okay? Now, if you read through your program, you say, okay, let's see, inputted minutes is equal to, oh, this is a method because it's got parameters on it, okay? And, oh, here, logo, it's going to print that out, and display in calc, okay? You remove some of the complexity. Granted, it's not that great, okay? But it made it a whole lot easier to read. Now let's say if a programmer comes along and you wrote this program 5 years ago and he doesn't even know you, he can say, well, I'm having trouble with my display. And he goes, oh, here's where the display is. I'm going to go check out this method that does this display and fix something in here. It helps him to narrow it down.